Then when we talk, we put the mic back on. Hi there, check your mic, Soup. But anyways, hello, this is David Allen Moon from Dave Moon TV. I'm up in the west coast of British Columbia, not so much in America, but I watch a lot of the news and do some research on American topics. I'm here to join everybody and weigh in and talk about whatever we're talking about tonight. And I will leave it as a surprise until Captain Soup tells everybody what we're gonna talk about tonight and what we're gonna cover. Thank you for allowing me to join. Oh yeah, my name is Yakin Lanala. I'm from Wee Nation in uh, so-called colonial British Columbia. Some of you call it the Campbell River area. Born in Victoria, raised in Canada, so I guess I'm a Western Canadian, Indigenous, raised in Canada, influencer, I guess, in my own mind. Thank you. Indigenous, raised in Canada, influencer, I guess, in my own mind. Thank you.
Oh my God! What did I do?
Canada.
All right. Anyways, this is the State of America, episode 14.
All right. Anyways, this is the State of America.
And Matthew, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Matt. I am an activist from Massachusetts, New England, and I help, promote the general idea of fighting for justice for everyone, and just glad to be here.
Thank you for being here.
No
And
problem.
then Dora, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Dora from Augur Media and one of the co-hosts of It's Some Show. But anyways, just a community activist, journalist, and longtime professional cook. So hopefully we can serve up some good news today.
All right. Yeah, hopefully. So, I don't know if you guys heard about this shooting out of Pennsylvania, but I was gonna go ahead and put that on the screen. It's
Warning to anybody, this is some extremely severe graphic content warning, so tune your faces away if you're squeamish.
yeah, Eddie Irizarry the shooting of Eddie Irizarry. Yeah, I'll go ahead and play it, and then I'll pause it if you guys want to talk.
How are you?
What's your name, bud?
Right? Yeah.
What's the problem? You get a warrant, I think, buddy.
Yeah. Who's gonna handle that?
All right, you cool? We're gonna confirm it real quick, and then I'll let you know. All right?
Can I call somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna put you in handcuffs real quick. All right?
Let's just step on this side.
No.
Okay, you gotta hold on.
Just hold on. I'm not gonna seize it. I promise I'm not gonna seize it.
Hey, Steve, call somebody, bro. Call my girl. You get out of my pocket. I forgot her number.
I'll get it for you, dude.
You got it? Just forget yours.
Just walking back.
Yeah, that is.
Cool.
Bro, I don't think you got no warrant.
We'll confirm it, and if it's not,
I know, but we can't take
Put it back in my pocket. I just know the number.
I know, but we're not going to take it.
I can put it back.
Notice
I do.
You don't have to touch me.
Okay, so
I'm telling my brother.
Okay,
I'm touching the phone too.
just
Yeah, he just said give it to me.
I don't care.
hey.
He just said to give it to me.
So that first video wasn't loading. Hopefully this one loads.
Yeah, thanks for waiting, folks. We'll get it together pretty quick.
Show that fucking. Show that. I'll fucking shoot you. 413 shots fired. 100 West Willard. Get your hand up right now.
This is the officer, please hurry. 1 West Willard. This is the officer, please hurry. 1 West Willard.
Move the car. Mark, move the car.
All right.
All right, 2413. Get those cars, please. 100 Willard. All right, first car location with condition. Give them the
Keep those hands up, right where I can see them. Keep those hands up.
Do you guys see how he's telling him to put his hands up?
Yeah.
He's telling him to put his hands up when he's incapacitated. So I just want to.
After he fucking blasts them. Yeah, it's pretty bizarre procedure. I'm shocked and appalled. Well, not shocked because of the way that they don't follow procedure, but to just start blasting him and say, hey, put your hands up now.
Watch
Comply.
Look how they treat his body after this too.
All right, so what is it, East Willard or West Willard? West Willard. All right. Amerikkka. West for Cumberland, if you dare clear, first contact.
Break the window, Mike. You shoot your fucking ass.
I came out 100 West Willard, 50 off the police fire radio, 100 East Willard, 50 off the police fire radio.
Huh?
You're gonna have to get him out.
I know.
13, anyone approaching? Yeah, people around now, 14, 13. Two, we're not far.
I'd like to point out for anybody that was paying attention in the
Alright, you want to look
first
east with 13?
around the window. The individual's hands were face up, resting on the wheel, palms up, and he had his ID. Precisely exactly what you're supposed to do. The officer immediately told him, as he's coming around, he's going to shoot him. And then after the effect, literally stated he would fucking kill the guy. Dude's already dead, man. Just gonna say, at that point, he's already, you're like, and yeah, no, disgusted, appalled, angry. Like, I watched that during my lunch break and almost lost my lunch. Like, it was bad. And
That officer has been charged with murder.
good.
As he should be. And as I always say, arrest, charge, convict, and sentence accordingly.
He's due in court in September 20-something. It's on the Leon Block Independent Media.
I'm for east, bro. I'm sorry, east. Wow. Forward.
And as I stated
Stay with the
before,
car, stay with the car so no one grabs anything.
everybody's welcome back at any time, because we all need to talk about this, regardless of whatever side or whatever the thoughts are. Like, something has to band us all together, and I think this is one of those things, is police brutality. This triggers me because of my brother's case. Anybody wants to know about that story, I can talk about it now or later. I don't mind repeating myself because it heals the spirit of my brother, who was shot by police in 1992. They chased him into an alleyway. Back then there wasn't body cams, so they probably would have been under arrest if there was body cams at the time, or they probably wouldn't have did what they did. But anyways, they shot him 9 times, and they said he had a gun. And when they found his body, it was a cassette Walkman, not a gun.
Yeah, I can understand why that's triggering for you. We don't have to watch all of it, but
No, let's do it.
all right, I'll continue then.
And unless the audience doesn't want to see it, I mean, we should check and see if there's any comments. We should let everybody weigh in. Whatever you guys all think, spill it out. Because if this isn't a problem with you, and no offense, I don't want to get into the critical form of it, but if you think this is okay, and you think, I'm not saying you guys, but people out there in the world, like, oh, it's Blue Lives Matter, and if he complied, they wouldn't have did it, so blah, blah, blah. I don't side with you at all. I don't believe that this is the way human beings should be treated. I don't think people running around with badges that aren't trained properly, that don't know what they're doing, are around our streets, killing our children. This person that was shot in the car was 15 years old, correct?
13. Anyone approaching?
Correct? Anybody? I think he's 15. So he's a child then. That's all I was trying to get to. They're killing children. It's our children, Where's the people standing on the side of the road going to the education protest saying save our children? What about this child?
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
What about this child?
That's a good question. That's a very good question.
I like to bring it up. That's why I call them hypocrites. They claim to be part of a religion. They claim to be standing up for children. What about this child? Crickets.
Yep. All right, I'm gonna mute myself and play.
We're gonna have to scoop now. East, I'm sorry, east.
Wait, stay with the car,
All right. 13, be advised, my half is scooping that male to Temple. Tell Temple right now we got one coming in with one officer. I'm holding the scene here.
And all the victims of police brutality. I'm just sick of seeing this over and over and over.
I'll shoot you. 413, shots fired, 100 West Willard. Get your hand up there right now!
Assistant Officer, please, sorry, 1 West Willard. Assistant Officer, please, sorry, 1 West Willard.
Mark, hold up. Mark, stop. Move the car. Mark, move the car.
All right.
Move the car.
Move the car.
13, get us cars, please. Willard.
Alright, first car location within this check.
Keep those hands up, right where I can see him. Keep those hands up.
Mark, hit the unlock button or something. I can't get this window.
Alright, so what is it, East Willard or West Willard?
West Willard.
Alright. Amerikkka, 1 for Cumberland, clear, first contact.
Break the window, Mike. Because you should fucking ass.
Where's the fucking, I just seen it.
Talking about 100 West Willard, 50 off the police fire radio, 100 East Willard, 50 off the police fire radio.
Huh?
We're gonna have to get him out.
I know.
13, anyone approaching?
Heavy low right now, 14, 13. 2 in the park. Alright,
13, we're gonna have to scoop now.
That's just disgusting, dragging in.
East, I'm sorry, east.
Like that.
Mike, stay with the car, I'll take it. Stay with the car so no one grabs anything.
Alright.
If they'll do this to children, they'll do it to
scooping that
anybody.
mail to Temple. Tell Temple right now we got one coming in with one officer. I'm holding the scene here. Correct. Police discharge. We have one mail shot. My half is scooping that mail now. Have the scene. I got a crowd forming. I'm gonna need people to start backing up. Yo, get all them out of here.
Real, how do you guys feel about that video, or what do you want to say about it?
As I said earlier, I'm disgusted in how police procedure isn't properly used. They're having a bad day, they're overworked, they're underpaid, whatever. It's disgusting to treat human beings in this way. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The system is guilty as hell.
Would the first words out of your mouth to a potential suspect are, "I will fucking shoot you," no issuance of commands, no stop, no pull over, no hands up, "I will fucking shoot you," and then proceed to do so, even get into it past that point, like, just to begin with. And then while the dude's sitting there twitching, ordering him to put his hands up and kill him? Are you fucking kidding me? Bro. And like I said, for anybody that paid attention when he first walked around, homeboy's hands were palms up, resting against the steering wheel with his ID. Why the fuck did you shoot him? There's no fucking reason. Now another mother has to fucking deal with this shit. How many mothers in our communities have to fucking put up with this shit before some of the mothers in theirs have to? That's a question. How fucking long do we allow monolateral warfare? One side to just fucking tramp on us and kill us. Our children. When the fuck are we going to say enough fucking people and actually stop them?
That's good. Some good questions there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad to see that some action happened pretty fast there, and that officer was charged with murder already. That's pretty rare to see. I'm not sure exactly when this happened, and I just know the body cam footage was just released like a couple days ago.
It's in the body cam. It's in the tag there. It's August 18th.
Oh, okay.
So this is just a couple weeks ago.
David, I know you got something to say.
Yeah, I was just sharing it out to some of the sources I've got. I don't know what else to say. I always say I love repeating myself, but I don't like repeating myself about this. Dora is bang on. Like, I've talked, like, you really freaked me out, Sue, because you know my head is spinning and those sprockets are turning. Anyways, I've talked to mothers personally. I've watched a lot of streams with moms out there. Patrick Kimmon's mom, and yeah, now we have to add another victim to the list, the long list that we don't want to see. I don't want to hear another motherfucking name. And to see those mothers and look into their eyes and talk to them, you'll see how much pain I'm going through and how much pain they're going through. And I have no idea. I have no idea. But when they cry, it breaks me. It also inspires me to move on for demanding justice, but it sure breaks me. Like, my heart hurts right now just thinking about that child's family.
Yeah, I think what the most hurtful part of watching this video for me, like the most traumatizing part of watching this video for me would be the handling of how they treated him after they shot him. That's just this. It really disgusts me. They just pull him out of the car and he's being carried around like a rag doll. I'm like, okay, so is that how you'd want your family to be treated?
At their car.
What was that?
And then they just threw him into the back of the car like he was a sack of potatoes.
Yeah.
Not even just the way they carried him over, is the whole thing. Start to finish, the whole thing. But that's what got me, was when I saw him do that. I was just, I can't.
That's one of the darker body cam videos I've seen, for sure.
Little better heads up next time you send one of those to us there, Soup, by the way. Because,
yeah,
it's not a good enough heads up warning. Like, damn, man.
Well, we were well aware of that. We were going to show the videos, and on chat we did come into consensus of watching it, not because we wanted to, and sorry about that. Yes, trigger warning whenever you're watching State of America. But
Raw here, folks.
that's harsh. Is Matt still here?
He's lurking somewhere.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Well, I just love your weighing in too, right? Because you're covering the Anthony Harden case more or less in your neighborhood. And, I know that you're one of the advocates who are critical of the police like I am, maybe in the more extreme version of that. And we're right up against police brutality. What do you have to say about this situation? Other than fuck the police, and you're correct on a lot of the stuff that you talk about, and why we gotta babysit these people that are supposed to be protecting the public,
Exactly.
and why you're critical of that.
I mean, I don't hate them. I just can't trust them.
Yeah, that's the misunderstanding. Everybody thinks, oh, Matt hates the police. No, he doesn't. He doesn't like the way they're treating people, and he's allowed to feel that way. And I think you're pretty quiet and fed up, but I don't know what you're thinking. Maybe ultra pissed off, but I'm hurt. I'm insanely hurt. Like, I just can't believe that BIPOC youth in the inner city, in the marginalized communities, are being treated less than human. It's a system.
Was
We need to talk
Eddie
about it
was
and
Eddie
stop it.
was he Hispanic? I wasn't sure. I think he's Hispanic, right? Or am I wrong?
He looked like he could have been Hispanic, black mixed. I don't know. I'd have to look into it, but it does seem a more Hispanic name too, the last name. But one of the things I want people to understand is a bit of a historical context. There was a point in time before the formation of the Black Panthers where the shit that we're seeing now that we
Puerto
think is
Rican
was commonplace then. It was just as bad. It just wasn't as recorded. And that was why they formed in the first place. They armed themselves, and their sole purpose was every time a cop car went out, there was one of their cars following. And the whole point was, as long as that cop did his job correctly and didn't brutalize the person, that was fine. But the second that cop started abusing power, them guns got locked, loaded, and came out. And all of a sudden, cops started getting shot. And all of a sudden, cops started minding their business and minding their rules and not abusing their power as much because they were fucking terrified that the community would come out the woodworks like they had been. That's how a lot of the lessened brutality of the last couple of decades ended up coming about, was because they were just terrified to fucking do that shit. It was fuck around and find out. And that's what I'm getting at, is we're coming to a point where we're about to have to start doing the same damn thing again. It's history repeating itself. And I don't want to see that. Because as much as I might dislike them because of a lot of experiences and observations in my lifetime, they're people too, and they got mamas too, and they don't need to be going home in a box either. But on that same note, they sure as fuck ain't needing to be sending nobody. Especially not no babies. And that's what they fucking do.
Yeah, Eddie was pretty young. Eddie was pretty young. I thought I read somewhere that he was 17, but don't quote me. See, I'll look it up. It's already on Wikipedia. Oh, it says he's 27, but I mean, he's still young. So
Maybe I'm mixing him up with another case because there's a few incidents that have occurred in the last week.
yeah, he looked really young.
Many is what it is.
Oh, yeah. What about
Many, sorry.
there's also the pregnant woman that was shot in the parking lot in Ohio.
Yep, another procedure, policy, gun, wielding cop not following the rules, just doing what they want to do, then putting themselves in danger, and then say, "Oh, I'm in danger," and then firing when ready. Just like the Chantel Moore case.
It's so commonplace over here in the Bay Area that nobody even really pays attention anymore. I look online every other day. There's something coming out of San Francisco.
Are we becoming numb to this now, folks? Or
There was something
what?
3 days ago in San Francisco.
Seems like it.
There was a body cam footage released like 3 days ago from an incident on the same website or same YouTube channel that we got this other thing from. So yeah, that's crazy.
In a way, we are, but as we are affected by this particular video, it shows that we are not completely numb to it, which is good.
So there's a body cam footage 1 day ago from LA, and then there's one 2 days ago from San Francisco. That was released on that same YouTube channel. So yeah, it happens a lot out there.
Yep. And talking about it, I don't know. I'm not getting sick of talking about it. I'm not giving up. But I'm very, very taxed and angry, frustrated, sad, hurt. And then rinse and repeat.
But I'm not giving up.
But I'm not giving up. Exact. Thanks, Dore. But I'm not going to give up. No.
Dude, our jaws are hurting from saying names, from fucking quoting cases. Our brains are melting out of our ears from reading all of this shit, guys. Like, shout out to every fucking journalist that's actually worth their salt out there fucking digging on this shit, by the way. Because I promise y'all need therapy. Because we know we do. And seriously, if somebody wants to put together a GoFundMe to just hire a bunch of shrinks for the community journalists, we wouldn't say no.
I'm in. I don't mind contributing to that at all. His mental health is important.
Footage before we put it out to you people. And we watch a lot more of it than you guys end up digesting because, like, shout out to every journalist out there who's actually doing the job right.
All right. Well, do you guys want to move on to Enrique Tarrio?
You read my mind. That's spooky soup. You know it. We're half an hour in, so yeah, let's go.
All right. So I'll read the Wikipedia page. Enrique Tarrio is an American far-right activist and convicted seditionist. From 2018 to 2021, he was the chairman of the Proud Boys, a far-right neo-fascist organization that promotes and engages in political violence in the United States. Along with 3 other Proud Boys leaders, Tarrio was convicted in May 2023 of seditious conspiracy for his role in the 2021 United States Capitol attack. In September 2023, Tarrio was sentenced to 22 years in prison. So the big news with Tarrio is that he was sentenced to 22 years in prison for sedition. His part in the January 6th attack on the White House. Everyone, or in the Capitol, everyone knows about that. So
please let that be a just a taste of things to come for the other people who are currently fighting that same case, regardless of how orange they might be.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Man ruined perfectly good fruit and snack food in one shot.
I know exactly. Like, poor fruit has to be compared to something like that.
But if it wasn't for him, Campbell's would have gone under by now.
And Soup wouldn't be our
that's
captain.
actually something that they said at one point. Their company has not been doing well. And Soup sales went up. That. So he did something good for a Canadian economy.
Well, the Campbell's family, yeah, I suppose. But yeah, back to the Tarrio guy, huh?
For
Like,
those that don't
it's a warning for the rest of those chuds out there that think that they can rise up and take on the government and literally incite violence, pass it on the internet, which is something we don't do. We like to educate and inform. Some of these groups were into literally overthrowing the government by violence, and Donald Trump, what is a better way to overthrow a government than have a guy that's going out, and he honestly thought in his little head that he could use force and power to keep himself in there. And he found out he's going to find out. He's finding out, and some of these people are finding out the hard way that there is a law, there is order, and there are governments here, which we're critical of. Don't get me wrong. And they have means and ways to promote, or not promote, but seek justice, right? So is the guy Enrique doing time as a political prisoner, as the Cheeto eaters like to say, or is this justice prevailing, so to speak, in another way? I don't know. What do you guys think? I know Dora wants to say something. I shouldn't have interrupted you. Sorry. Go ahead.
So answer to that last bit of questioning right there would be yes, because by technicality, both are actually accurate. He would be considered a political prisoner because, under the nature of the context of the situation, it is a political move. He's a political prisoner. However,
that's right. Yeah,
he is also involved with some crazy bullshit. The hilarious part, though, is the entire nature of this whole debacle comes around because a bunch of people understand parts of law, but not the whole context, right? Basically, they came for the wrong reason, but they came in the correct way according to our actual law. Fucking hilarious part of our Constitution. It's not just our right, but our responsibility. Should our government get too big for its britches, paraphrasing here, to overthrow the motherfucker and reestablish it from the ground up with a whole ass new constitution based on the principles of the original. It's in the Constitution and the Declaration. Like, it ain't even our first rodeo with this whole thing. Like, that's the funny thing about the U.S. government. Coups are actually considered legal if done correctly and you actually succeed. That's the other catch. You have to succeed, guys. And if you came for the right reasons, you'd have had enough people.
There you go.
Succeed,
that's
not
right.
succeed.
Yeah.
There's a difference between succeeding and succeed.
Being organized, being mentally capable and fit would be a start. Knowing law, as Dora said, in its entirety would have been great too. Using the old putting your opponents in a headlock, it just didn't work. It just made everybody look bad on that side, with 7 police officers dying.
Well, if they would have just walked up to the Capitol and surrounded it and started yelling at it instead of walking into it, like, they might be in a different situation than they are now. You know.
Sure. And then they get some lawyers to walk in there and do it the legal way.
So did Ryan.
And they'd get it thrown out anyways.
Ryan Stewart was also arrested and sentenced to 18 years in prison for his part. He was one of the Oath Keepers, the leader of the Oath Keepers with the patch on his eye.
Of course. Oh, you know, all the Cheds are gonna come out to play, from the QAnon to the Oath Keepers, the Proud Boys. I'm not gonna hide their names anymore. We might as well dox them and give them their 15 seconds of fame that they deserve.
There is a funny thing about it. So I have a policy that journalism is supposed to be neutral. So I listen to everybody and give everybody equal time should they choose to use it. Ironically enough, apparently enough people on the so-called left have posted into the auger system that people on the right don't feel comfortable because that's a leftist group. And it's like, no, it's not. If you'd get in here and say something, it'd be balanced. Just try not to be a dick. It's the rule. Don't be a dick. If other people are being dicks and you're recording it, that's fine, but you yourself don't be a dick. How hard is that? They don't want to play. So clearly they're all dicks. But that aside, the shit that they say, because I do listen to them, every once in a while, they got something right. Every once in a blue moon, they do get something right. Now, it is true. All these individuals are getting hemmed up. If you look into the background of a lot of these guys have a lot of background in law enforcement, particularly and especially the group called the Oath Keepers that you just mentioned there. Once upon a time, they were actually friends of the Occupy movement, because the original premise was they were the people in the military and law enforcement who understood the oath of service to uphold and defend the Constitution from all threats, foreign and domestic. Hell, they still say it to this day, but they've lost sight of what the fuck that means. It's like the Boogaloo Boys somehow turned into a white nationalist group when it was founded by an LGBT mixed-race kid and his dad, because they left the militia they were in because they were bigoted.
Well, the wrong people got in there and radicalized them.
Oh man.
They tried so hard to fight against that, by the way, guys. When it first happened, they tried. They really did. They were doxing and excommunicating people from the group regularly based on their posts until it just got to the point where it was overwhelming.
Well, they found out and they effed around and found out some of these groups and people, because yes, you can have freedom of speech. You can say what you want, but there are limits in reality when it comes to when you're talking about other people, like some of the posts and comments that I saw on videos. I don't know if I'm allowed to repeat it on here. I'll just say it anyway. Stuff like hang Pence, and even some of the words were to skin Donald Trump, as well as the words I heard on some of these videos.
Wait, so like the
Thanks
far
to
right
Jaden X and stuff like that.
Left get just as ridiculous as people on the right. I just want to point that
Oh
out.
yeah, yeah. No, that's true
yeah.
too. Like we've got left, right, center, different groups saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go after that person because they disagree with me now," and then that's a reason to have violence. And we don't need to have any kind of violence. I don't care how much propaganda you have to back your reason to go crazy.
And
But
I've said this
if you listen to what I'm saying here for a quick second, I'll let you talk. I was hearing videos during the January 6th siege, or the January 6th incident, where these guys are just high on meth, drunk as hell. They didn't give a shit. Like, they wanted to go after Trump. They thought Trump was actually in the building as well, so they didn't even know what they're talking about. And they were talking about hanging Mike Pence. And now they're actually calling who's that? Ashley Babbitt a war hero. Figure that out. Yeah, she was the one done in during the January 6th. And now we have people outside of the jail in DC that have been there
Are we gonna
ever
cover
since
the Jason Aldean
people
protest?
ever since the DC January 6th thing. There's been a group hanging out outside of the jail cells. Mayor McCheese is talking about it a lot. He airs it every time he has an episode. Shout out to Mayor McCheese on Twitch. I don't know if I'm going to get in shit for saying that on here, but I did. But check his videos out, and these guys are actually still there. This is the joke that everybody needs to hear. Where they've been hanging out, the grass is all dead now. I mean, go figure, right? Like, they've literally killed the grass in the place they've been hanging out there, and you can see the other grass is green, and the grass where they're hanging out is probably peed on, so it's gonna die.
Well then. The one thing I was getting to with that whole thing is there's a conspiracy theory that came up on the right wing side. And for those that don't know the context, I have an issue with the whole left and thing because y'all so screwed up it's not even funny. There's 4 directions, not you got left pro-capitalism, or left anti-capitalism, right pro-capitalism, top is authoritarian, bottom is anti-authoritarian, and then it goes crazy from there. But most of what both the left and the right in this would be considered would be on the global scale a right winger either way. But enough about that. The whole thing is that there was a conspiracy that on January 6th, there was a shit ton of government agencies involved in making all of that happen, inciting the riots, up to and including cops even uploaded their own home video footage of them up on the parapets, inciting the crowd and communicating with other officers undercover in the crowd whose job was to incite the crowd to do exactly what they did. And it was, the doors were opened from the inside by badges. Just putting that out there. It was as much rednecks being rednecks as it was Antifa, who were in fact there causing them some idiocy of their own, as it was an inside job, like 9/11. If we ain't got banned yet, that should get us. But I digress.
You know what I say, Dora? If you got receipts, prove it.
You should actually pay attention to the right sometimes, because sometimes they say shit that's as spot on as anything. And just like the right, the left says some shit that turns out to be completely fucking asinine too. Like, it's just what it is.
Yeah, but with no proof, it's just hearsay. With no receipts.
Right.
Well, as you know what we say here, we need receipts, we need videos, we need documents. And most of those police officers that you mentioned are already getting rung up. And Enrique is just the beginning, as you said. I can't wait to see all these cops go to jail. I can't wait. I'm going to celebrate.
Watch out for your videos too, and truly, truly dig on the sourcing points of them, because somebody recently had ChatGPT make a deepfake video to prove the point of how good deepfake videos are at convincing people that they're real. And it was a simple video of Barack Obama giving one of his speeches, which was a real video of him. And then there's at one point, he stops and says, I love life, I love love, and my favorite thing in the world is when me and my husband Michael walk hand in hand down the beach together. It never happened. It was a deep fake, but people think it's real. And honestly, I've watched it and I can't tell. But that's what the AI made to prove the point. Be careful what you're watching too.
Oh, so Matthew wanted to speak, you guys, and I don't think he got the chance to, by the way. Or somebody's. Yeah.
I don't think it was me that you're talking about.
It ran away again. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
No. If you guys want to weigh in, let's weigh in on stuff, because it's almost 7 o'clock, and we're going to talk about some Madison guy or Matheson.
Danny.
I shouldn't have said anything.
Masters, son, I think.
Yeah, that's the name.
Danny.
Yeah. Are we going to show any videos or letters or anything?
Oh.
I guess I shouldn't be doxing the hell out of our own secret. You're the narrator. I'm not supposed to be telling everybody. You are. Go ahead.
Somebody said your background images are throwing everybody off. Or one person said that. We only have 2 comments on the stream, so people aren't really commenting though.
Oh, really? Okay, that's good. I was wondering if we can, do some Thoughts, comments, anybody? Share, like.
Yeah,
You can
feedback.
even feedback, talk to me. You got any questions about these situations? You want to talk to Dora and ask any questions? You have any questions about the Anthony Harden case? Like, like, and like, and whatever else you guys want to talk about, man. Like, we gotta like get interactive people. Don't be afraid to comment. We're not gonna ban or dox you or search you up or anything. Believe me. Well, I'm not
Right.
gonna, anyways.
Interactive thing right now seems to be your hat. Time.
Oh, that thing! It's making my head disappear, eh?
As soon as he said
We'll
something,
leave it like that.
I was like, wait a second, that's what they're talking about. It's funny. That's great,
Oops.
man.
Oh, I guess I get to be the center of attention for all the wrong reasons. There you go. It's my Canadian hat with it's a Canadian flag with a little bit of the native art on there.
All right. Matthew, please. Before
No,
we get
please
distracted.
win.
Matthew.
What do you want to talk about?
We thought you had something you wanted to say.
I didn't really have anything I wanted to say. I was just,
I like Matthew. He's like laid back, chill, just watching, hanging out, learning.
I'm just
I wish I
listening
was
to
that
what
laid
everyone
back
has to
and
say,
relaxed.
and I haven't really formulated something that I wanted to say yet, so I'll let you guys know.
All right.
No
Well, I
worries.
just put some pressure on him.
Those things you've been covering in your area. I know we mentioned that a little bit earlier.
What?
I know the officer that shot Eddie Israel was arrested for murder and charged with murder because it came up on nightly news with Lester Holt one night I was watching. It's something that comes on MSNBC, so I knew that was kind of refutable. But yeah, there was a lawsuit that was filed by the brother of Anthony Harden, Eric Mack, where he sued for I think he won like $42,000 suing the district attorney, and one of the requirements is that the district attorney has to step down. That district attorney is the same one that justified the officer involved shooting of Anthony 2 years prior, and under no legal basis because he didn't even look at all the evidence and omitted a couple pieces of evidence like video footage of officers conversing with each other, which would have proved key to the investigation. Like their testimony, it seems like they took like the testimony of like one officer to the entire scene of the murder and used his to run with rather than the other three officers who testified against. So
You're saying, Matt, that this prosecutor may possibly have a political viewpoint on these cases. He's sort of getting personal,
yeah,
rather than doing his job as what a person should do.
yeah, exactly. And it all seems like one giant cover up that I hope is uncovered and turned, into justice for the family of Anthony.
Or better yet, prosecute anybody that's responsible for not following the law. That's obstruction of justice, isn't it?
If you're curious about the case and the case details, there's a Facebook page titled Justice for Anthony Harden. It's on Facebook, and you can look at like key court documents that were publicly released related to the case. So, as well as insightful articles related to the case. So yeah, the floor is open for anyone else who wants to talk.
Thanks, Matt.
do you guys? Okay, so we can talk about Danny Masterson if you guys are ready to move on.
Ah,
Yeah,
yes.
sorry to leak that out. You bet.
All
Let's do
right.
it.
So I don't know if you guys have watched that '70s show. Danny Masterson was one of the stars of that show. He was the guy with the curly hair and the sunglasses. Uh, he was in
Hi.
like every episode, I think. Anyways, he
The
just got
character Hyde, the weird stoner guy that lived in a van, which is ironic because of all the characters on that show, that was the one most likely to be suspected of doing precisely what he ends up doing in real life. Back to you, Soup.
Oh yeah, so he was charged with sexually assaulting 3 different women back in between 2000 and 2004. These women were from the Church of Scientology, um, and he also attended the church as well. But that was like right in the beginning of that '70s show, I believe. 3 women filed sexual assault allegations against Masterson, prompting an investigation by the Los Angeles Police Department. Masterson, through his agent, denied the allegations, of course. In December 2017, after a 4th victim's accusations, Netflix fired Masterson from his comedy series The Ranch. And saying in a statement, yesterday was his last day on the show, and production will resume in early 2018 without him. So now he's been dropped by all these talent agencies, and now he's actually on his way to prison. So he was sentenced for 30 years for 2 of the women and not the 3rd. So how do people feel about that?
Did you guys hear that Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis went up and supported Danny after all these allegations came after him?
Yeah, we got the letters right here, and hopefully Soup will have them ready to post so we can read. And that was after the sentence,
think the
after he
fact
was
that-
found guilty.
I
So
think
they
the
wanted to
fact that,
support him to lower the sentence.
I think the fact that Ashton Kutcher went up there and decided to stand by Danny after all this is insane, because Ashton Kutcher, a couple of years back before Trump was president, was actually up in the media talking about child trafficking and the fact that it's happening all over. The government isn't doing enough to deal with it. So it's like a complete 180.
Yeah,
He's
he's a philanthropist, right? I don't know about that anymore.
He's the person who picked up work on the documentary that Chester Bennington and Chris Cornell were both involved with before. Well, the rumors go as they go, but yeah, the everybody that's worked on that project before Kutcher has ceased to be alive. So it's interesting that he's the one who seems to be making headway with it, and all of a sudden this. Like,
exactly my thoughts.
I just find it cringe that somebody or people would actually back up something like that. I'm very sus about that, and they never once talked about the person in question gaining or at least taking responsibility for their actions. Same with him. So I find that really cringe that it's all just a big publicity stunt for all of them, and they're all worried about their images and their marketing value. Well, let's see who markets or values people like that, who backs up people like that.
almost all of them. There's one person in Hollywood that I can outright say, you know what, I like that guy. And his name is Ricky. I believe his name is Ricky Gervais. He's a Brit comedian. And he tears into him for it. Like, he calls them out for their pedophilia while giving award ceremony speeches. Like, this guy is fucking phenomenal. I wonder what he has to say about Danny. That'd be interesting to see. Soup, see if you can find something with that.
Or let's read the letters out.
Mm-hmm.
The letters are kind of long, but I can read them. So this one's from Milo
Or just
Kunis.
one of them even.
All right, to the honor. This is from. Well, do you guys want to Mila? Is it Miller or Mila? I don't know. Here's
Mila.
let's read Ashton Kutcher's actually. That's the one
Yeah,
that
let's
got
go with
more
Ashton.
controversy.
Mila
Hi,
Kunis.
my name is Ashton Kutcher. I'm an actor, investor, philanthropist, and most importantly, a father. I met Danny Masterson when I was 20 years old in 1998. He instantly became a friend, dedicated coworker, and role model to me, and has remained as such for 25 years. As a friend, Danny has been nothing but a positive influence on me. He's an extraordinarily honest and intentional human being. Over a 25-year relationship, I don't ever recall him lying to me. He's taught me about being direct and confronting issues in life and relationships head on, resolving them and moving forward. Danny is a person that is consistently there for you when you need him. We've traveled around the world together, raised our daughters together, and shared countless family moments. Not only is he a good friend to me, I witnessed him be a good friend to others, and the kind of brother others would be lucky to have. As a role model, Danny has consistently been an excellent one. I attribute to not falling into the typical Hollywood life of drugs directly to Danny. Anytime that we were to meet someone or interact with someone who was on drugs or did drugs, he made it clear that that wouldn't be a good person to be friends with. And for me, that was an implication that if I were to do drugs, he wouldn't want to be friends with me, which is something I never would want to risk or jeopardize. I am grateful to him for that positive peer pressure. He also set an extraordinary standard around how you treat other people. There was an incident where we were at a pizza parlor and a belligerent man entered who was berating his girlfriend, and Danny ended up standing up to this person. Um, and okay, and here's the last paragraph. We have spent hundreds of hours working together. Danny takes his job seriously. He is kind, courteous, and hardworking. He treated everyone from the Gripson to the Teamsters to the actors to the caterers as equals. He showed up on time all the time and always pulled his weight. We have also traveled around the world together promoting our work. I can honestly say that no matter where we are or who we are with, I never saw my friend be anything other than the guy I have described. So there's a lot there.
Real quick, to anybody who's actually paying attention out there, Soup, could you reread that part about the whole pizza parlor? Because if I am not mistaken, that's actually the plot line to one of the episodes that they did. And he ended up getting arrested in the episode because he hit the dude.
Let's see.
Red came.
Oh, there was an incident where we were at a pizza parlor and a belligerent man entered who was berating his girlfriend. We had never met or seen these people before, but Danny was the first person to jump to the defense of this girl. It was an incident he didn't have to get involved in, but proactively chose to because the way this man was behaving was not right. He always treated people with decency, equality, generosity. After 9/11, Danny was a huge advocate for support of the firefighters affected by the event, rallying his friends and coworkers to pitch in however they could. Danny had his daughter a year before I had mine. He set a standard of being hands-on dad. We have spent countless hours together with our kids. He is among few people that I would trust to be alone with my son and daughter. He's also dedicated and a loyal husband and unwavering commitment to his wife. That was the part I didn't read.
Well, I was saying more just repeating that one little bit.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm not 100%, and I'd love somebody out that's actually watching this to check that for me if you guys actually know. But I'm fairly certain that was the plot of an episode that they did on that 70s show. Hyde ends up decking the dude in the pizza parlor, gets arrested for it, and because of how it went down, Red personally came and bailed him out. I'm fairly certain that's actually the plot line to an episode right there.
So that's weird if he's like taking something from the plot and like didn't actually happen outside of the show.
I mean, would he arbitrarily be like, some people we've never met before? Well, some rando comes into a pizza joint. I would imagine you probably never met them before. There's some rando coming into a pizza joint, dude. But still, I've watched almost all of that show as it came out back in the day, and I'm pretty certain that that's really in the plot episode.
The three flags I have is Danny actually did lie to Ashton because he hid this away from Ashton, so I don't understand why that was in the letter. I question Ashton why he judges or thinks that, or Danny, I guess, would be why he feels that Ashton has to explain about Danny, about judging people that are doing drugs or something. Like, I don't understand. Like, is there's like a hierarchy in their Hollywood society when it comes to people being on drugs or not? And the third one was like, I can't remember. It was just I was lost in the translation. I just don't understand what the point or the what you get out of the support letters. Like, I read both of them. It doesn't make any sense. There's no accountability. There's just
What this
some
is
open support with
it,
no consideration for victims or anything.
what these kinds of letters are designed for is basically a petition showing the court that people that you know are saying, look, this person is an outstanding person, this, that, and the other. It's something that increases likelihood for parole, reducing of sentences, shit like that. This is a person that's in Hollywood. It could go one of two ways. Either that clout will hold some weight and all of it will end up being what it usually is. Those in the club get slaps on the wrist, house arrest, etc. Shit like that. And these letters are the key elements of it. It's who's sending the letter more than what the letter says. But the letters pointing out the whole how he's not into drugs at all. That motherfucker has done blow off a counter at a specific little bar in downtown Hollywood. I've watched him. He is definitely into fucking drugs, okay? It is some bullshit right there. But like no, like that's the whole point of it, is to try and establish, look, he's a good person. He's got this, that, and the to kind of mitigate the severity of what's going on. And the fact that they would fucking write letters like this, let's fucking at all, much less considering the project that he's involved with, like, makes me almost wonder if it's one of them managed to infiltrate into the project and fucking take over to fuck it off. Because I haven't seen anything coming from that documentary other than I took over and look what I'm doing.
Honestly, I'm shocked that he got 30 years to life. It's 30 years to life, but he could get parole in 25 years. But I'm really shocked, honestly, that somebody in Hollywood got that much
sentence.
Time. Yeah,
they can change that sentence. But like that's the whole point behind this change. It's they're trying to throw their weight around and see if they can actually shake anything out. And a lot of times it does in fact work. Like that's one of the things for people that pay attention to some of the oddball conspiracy theories behind the what we've just come to refer to as simply pedogate, because fuck it, this makes the most sense. The whole thing, some of it's convoluted, some of it's actually pretty sensical, but Ashton raises flags on multiple fronts in the conspiracy world around that whole thing. Like, there's this thing called the Red Shoe Club, and supposedly it's a specific guy in Rome, Italy, who makes these out of the skin of kids, and there's a whole bunch of fucking weird shit involved with it, which seems pretty fucking out there. But should it be true, why is he a member? Like, some fucking weird shit involved with all of that. Like, it's one of the things is Gervais is very, very on point when it comes to pointing that kind of shit out in Hollywood and politics. That's why I said we should see what he has to say on the issue, because he's always on point with it. And I've noticed his friend circle is very small, and Kutcher is definitely not in it. Bennington was. Just gonna say that.
Anyways, back to Danny.
I got the 70s show theme stuck in my head right now.
Any comments? Any thoughts? Or
about Malcolm?
Anybody out there? What do you think about this, Matt? I don't know if you're old enough to remember the 70s show or watched it. I thought it was hilarious. Like, I thought his acting was spectacular. And when they sat around and did the circle thing and smoked a doob, and by the time they got around the second round, people were just all bug eyed and almost passing out. And I don't know. I guess I shouldn't deflect, but that was what I remember Danny from and the rest of them.
In retrospect, though, Hyde was the most rapey character out of that whole crew.
Truth.
That's just the irony of it.
It is. It's so weird. And
Wasn't
it's
he
creepy and cringe.
26, 27 years old, and at the time, Mila's character was supposed to be like 14 or 15, and they were dating?
The character is
So
fucking
Mila
cringy.
Kunis was 17, and all the actors ended up kissing her. The writers wrote that in. They kissed her when she was 17, so that's kind of weird.
Like, I
It's like a
understand
little dream the writers want to do, you know, kind of weird writer shit. Or not even that. Owners of the companies.
Like I could totally understand, because the social dynamic behind consent ages and stuff like that in the 70s was a lot different than it is now. In fact, the 70s are a very late 60s and early 70s are a good solid portion of the reason why the modern culture is the way it. Just throwing that out there.
Well, yeah, you don't want to go date around underage, you know, and then kissing your cousins. And, well, it still happens to this day, but to each their own, I suppose. If you can't find anybody, I don't know. Like, I'm just being sarcastic. Like, it's fucking cringe. Yeah. If you want to kiss somebody that looks like you, go ahead. If that makes you happy. But for me, I prefer to venture out. You know what I mean? But I've been with my wife for 20 years, so I'm going to stop talking now.
Best thing about a family reunion. It's the greatest dating. When you go on a blind date, and it's only because your cousin can't find their contacts. Hey guys, you want to see my family?
So he's going to jail for 30. What else were we going to talk about tonight? There was something else that we were going to put on the end of this. We're at 7:30 now, so.
Jimmy Fallon.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which I don't.
Some more Ellen like behaviors.
I should find an article about Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, you should.
What's been going on?
Talk
I've been
about it
for a while, so.
It's not somebody I watch in late night. He sort of is funny, I guess, but I don't know. He's like, like Soup said, he's like filler in time. He's getting canceled. He's abusive to his own employees. What else is new?
Isn't he the guy that replaced Letterman?
I think so. Yeah.
I think Letterman or Leno.
Yeah.
No, somebody else replaced Leno and then got canceled in the end. He's the one who replaced Letterman, though. I remember that. It's the Late Show.
Oh, here you.
Oh, I know.
Oh, so none of that was God damn it. I have to reread that. Sorry guys. So Jimmy Fallon's image as NBC's Jaffable Funny Man has taken a hit after several unnamed employees stepped forward with allegations of mistreatment on the set of his long-running program, The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon. After rising to popularity on Saturday Night Live, the comedian entered the talk show arena in 2009 with Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. 5 years later, he would take over from Jay Leno as host of The Tonight Show in 2014. However, 14 former employees and 2 current staffers on the show have alleged to Rolling Stones that The Tonight Show has been a toxic workplace for a number of years, with the high pressure environment and erratic behavior from the host. So 9 showrunners have quit over the past 9 years, and they also had rooms for staffers called crying rooms. 7 people said that their mental health had been negatively impacted. So Jimmy Fallon is just creating a toxic work environment. It's why he's being canceled now. He's still on the show and he still hasn't been fired though.
Okay, I did read something about that then. I thought it was like something new.
He is
beyond
the show. I mean, you could have to name it something else if you got fully canceled.
Well, no, because it's fairly easy because it wasn't always the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Once upon a time, there was a different host, Johnny Carson,
Yeah, everybody forgets about good old Johnny.
the Torch.
I like the big thing he'd wear on his head, and he would be a great guesser of something. He'd open the mail, and it was just, I love that. It's classic.
Like this is an envelope, right? And he's sitting there, and he's got it on his head, and he's like, he's got the squirmy hat on, and everything. He's like Amelia Earhart, the TV remote, my dignity from doing this show. Name 3 things that are lost forever to the annals of time. Opens it up like it's funny show. And then I don't know what Leno was like. I don't know who he was appealing to because that was just he was a misogynistic fucking asshole. Like his jokes weren't funny. I don't understand how Leno was popular. And then Jimmy.
Leno was popular because of his giant chin. So
yeah, really, that's about it.
Ed McMahon used to say, "Here's Johnny" about Johnny Carson, and that's how "Here's Johnny" got coined in The Shining.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff going on in the Tonight Show's history. It's nuts. But that's the thing about the Tonight Show. You can't cancel the Tonight Show. You just cancel whoever the hell's hosting it and replace them.
Yeah, it's by design. You know, the show must go on, and they'll blame the fall guy.
5 different times, and they didn't. Leno retired out because he just said, "Fuck it, I'm done."
He ended up apologizing too, so I don't know if that. Just so you guys know, he apologized for how he's treated his employees for the last 9 years, but it took 9 years in a Rolling Stone article for him to do it. So
here's the question:
that's the cringe part.
Going on the behind the scenes, has there been a change since the apology happened? That's what I want to know. If there has, you can't really forgive the past or forget the past, but you can give the man an opportunity to try and prove better in the future. You know, growth is fucking growth. If somebody grows and actually becomes a better human being, celebrate that. You know? Let's give him a second, see what he does. He continues to be.
But to do it for 9 years and then have to wait until you get caught is sort of the questionable part, right? And of course, he's being accountable, and of course, you know, we're going to see what the next move is, but it's always procedure I take a look at. The procedure.
Tyrant and very misogynistic. Like, that's not just something that was part of his show face. Like, he was bad. It's something that, like, since Leno, it's been a thing on the Tonight Show. Tonight Show's a bad place to work, especially if you're a woman.
Oh, so there was a comment. It said, "Really, 14 and 27 should not be mixing, but it's Hollywood." You remember Brooke Shields and Pretty Baby? Anyone? Now that one really got to me. The older I get, the worse it gets to me. Plus, it was also terrible acting.
Was it what was the one movie? American Beauty, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This was definitely underage, and there's a whole scene where she uncrosses and recrosses her legs. And it's right there on film.
Yeah. At least the actor was supposed to be portrayed as an underage person. Yeah. Yeah. And then she's like, "I'd fuck your dad if he worked out more." I remember that. I remember that scene.
Yeah, she's underage when that was filmed.
Oh, okay. I didn't know she actually was. Okay.
No, she actually was.
Yeah.
That's fucking cringe, man.
That's Hollywood for
That's
you.
still a film that's still on the shelves that portrays child nudity. It's fucking stupid.
So who was that Corey, the person Corey who was out making some accusations? Like, is he wrong? Is he wild and on drugs? Apparently we've got some evidence right here, right in front of us, we just brought up. And it's almost weird, it's cringy. Their episodes are like acting out their weird fantasies, like, shall I say? You tell me.
Who needs good writers when you can just pick up your own rap sheet?
And have somebody live out your weird vices and stuff. Like, that's the cringe part I question. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm just fucking stoned and this is all just made up, like their scripts and their brains. But what if it's real?
Just stoned.
Well, I'm still back half an hour ago. I can't believe that stars will still back up stars even after they're convicted and they're going away for a long time. Let's just write a weird letter and it doesn't do anything but show how cringe they are.
Look at
There's
Trump.
two groups of people in this world.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's two groups of people in this world. The people in the club and the people who ain't. And if you ain't a member of the club, you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I ain't a member of the club, but I found out about it. Like, it's not called the Illuminati or any of that other fucking shenanigans, but all those things are interconnected. I'll say one thing about Alex Jones. At one point in his career, I ain't gonna say shit about the last decade, but at one point in his career, that man was on to something. He was dead on to something, and I was standing there watching it in real time. There's a fucking thing called Bohemian Grove. It's real. And people are like, oh, there's no weird secret ritualistic shit and cabals and blah, 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 blah. The rednecks are just crazy. No, it is. I watched it happen. We stood in the fucking river because that wasn't private property. They got a statue of a fucking owl that has speakers and talks to them while they're all dancing around in robes. There's politicians there. There's fucking Hollywood people there. There's everybody there. Fucking weird.
What's the name of like the big time like director that was that got in trouble for some allegations? I'm trying to remember.
Michael Moore?
No, not Michael Moore.
He got in trouble too.
Oh, did he? Fucking
Yeah.
Hollywood.
Weinstein? Weinstein?
Yeah, Harvey Weinstein. There you go.
Yeah, like it's like we're not even like we can look up these legal documents if everybody would want to take the time to do it, but we don't have to tonight. Look it up yourself. Yeah, like we're just the stuff that we've talked about. Like there's legal proceedings and convictions of Harvey Weinstein. There's weird fucking episodes that we just brought up. That's fucking giving me the heebie-jeebies, man, because I used to laugh and get stoned and watch that 70s show and had no idea he was raping people.
I'm one of those people that was stupid enough to actually go to Hollywood and think, hey, yeah, sure, why not? Let's try, right? There's two ways that you get in. You either get in through the back of house style. You're part of the key grips, various various different stuff like that, or you get in on your knees.
Oh, man.
I
The
mean,
Illuminati way, right? 1 degree at a time.
truth of it. And even when you're doing the grunt work, the roadie work, that kind of
$20
shit,
is 20
like
bucks.
even still come, dude. Like fucking, that's why I didn't get into it, is because I wasn't about to be nobody's plaything for a fucking job. That's real shit, Hollywood.
And that's
Anybody who's,
unbelievable.
I guarantee you, promise you, has been abused at some point or was an abuser.
Yep. If you want to
Every
look up,
fucking one of them.
yep.
That's the
If you
truth
want to
of
watch,
Hollywood.
oh yeah, if you want to watch The Truth of Hollywood, check out The American Gladiators on Netflix. And I watched that show completely oblivious to knowing that there was so much like raping and pillaging, literally, that those gladiator actors that were on that show, they were making fucking peanuts working for that show. And that show bled the hell out of those guys and beat their bodies up to hell. And I like, and who watches late shows these days? Back to the real matter. Like,
And if you've ever
more
seen,
people watched Alex Jones actually
Ain't nobody got time for
than
that.
this Fallon guy
if you've
getting
ever
canceled.
seen the documentary "The Family" on Netflix, it's all about how Washington D.C. has been like indoctrinated with Catholic Christian values since like the beginning of like the presidencies. Some one guy came in there and
Necessarily
like
agree with
introduced.
per se. There's definitely been some involvement at one point, but when it first got started, that was actually something that they were very trying to avoid.
Documentary?
That's one of the strange things about it. No, I haven't seen that one yet, but it's interesting the use of the word "the family," though, because there is a very real thing that every single president to date has one thing in common. They're all related to the same king that the Declaration of Independence was written to. Some little girl actually figured it out trying to do some project for school. It's pretty cool. Pretty fucked up, though. And if you look back far enough, you can trace every great empire to this day. All of these world leaders are all interconnected and related all the way back to the Sumerian Empire.
Tell me who rules the countries, the government or the people, or neither, because the Bush family had generations of them running the US of A.
People when the Sumerians were in charge. That's who rules the people.
Well, it's whoever the lobbyists are that pay enough to get that spokesperson in there. Because, like I said, at the time, the Bush family had a lot of years of running the show, right? Not for the money, or not for the people, for the money.
9-year-old
We
girl
lost all our
figured it out.
viewers.
Well, of course, we just
Rerun.
drifted off, so, and it's 7:30, 7:45 anyways, so.
But yeah, no, real talk. That's actually a crazy thing you should look into, Dave. All the world leaders related to the Sumerians.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised to see it. And it's designed, from that big old World Bank.
The Anunnaki. Yeah, no, like
off to the after party.
Yeah, right.
Is there anything else that people want to bring up? Because I asked in the chat and nobody said anything.
Well,
So
nobody says anything if nobody's there.
right.
I do have a proposition for potentially next week, and this would be a great point to bring in my new friend I had introduced you today. But you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, for those that are still actively watching later down the line when we're on rerun mode, just completely disregard us. We don't know what we're talking about anyways.
That's the disclaimer I was trying to explain that we should put on here before we even do the intro, like 15 minutes of music, and in between that, we let everybody know. Don't take me seriously, please. I mean that.
We're gonna have a dance party, you said. So
yeah, we got to do that. We got to do a dance break every hour. Is what I was explaining.
I
not
could
seeing me dance.
Be set up potentially to live stream my DJing apps into the stream.
Why not? And then just do a song in between each dance break or something, where people can unwind.
David, you'd make a great dancer.
I don't think so. I think I'm better at music and my selection than any.
Has to sit there. His hat does all the dancing for him.
I think you'd make a decent dance.
I need to get one of those hats that spin around on my head. We're on it. So let's go to the after party. I'm out of here, you guys. Have a good night, everybody. And see you guys in the after party room.
No, hold on, Dave. Stay. Don't run away, Dave. Come back. Is Dave still here? Okay, good. Dave's still here.
For now. We don't have any topics. We don't have any videos.
So, proposition I'm going to give is maybe for next week. There's certain types of schools that share a great similarity to the residential schools of the Native community's history. There are rich people send their kids to these schools, and sometimes people don't exactly survive, and like it's some serious horror story shit. And I've got many friends and myself, and actually been involved in some of these kinds of situations, but neither here nor there to this situation now. We think it would be a really amazing subject to cover, especially because she's got an event that she's getting ready to do for people who are survivors of these schools.
You said residential schools?
They would actually be considered residential schools. Basically, rich yuppie people nowadays voluntarily pay to send their children to basically exactly the same fucking thing that the natives went through. And there's a whole
talk about it.
Dude, Dateline's done stories on some of these schools. Like troubled teen industries. Like holy shit balls, guys. And that's what I'm talking about. Like even in modern times, it's still going on. It's just not necessarily restricted to the natives anymore.
No, it never was. It was a design system that was made to disrupt and harm.
I ever had to say when I tried to tell people.
Matthew just slipped away without telling anyone, I think.
Yeah, no, well, he's going to come party with us. But we should do an episode sooner than later. And we should do it sometime around September 30th, because that's our annual Orange Shirt Day, which is actually designed and dedicated towards the education of residential schools and the effects of what that story entails. I'm very aware of the stories in the United States. I'm even more interested in knowing about the stories in other residential schools and the legal, the steps and what's going on. I think there's a case somewhere. I just can't think of where it is, but it's actively in the news. It talks about the church and talks about the certain school, and we'll get into that. We should. In fact, as soon as Soup's done and takes a break, we'll get back into it. We should. We'll not even wait.
You guys are gonna love Counselor Troy. She's actually got some degrees that would be very useful to our group.
Well, dude, let's talk about this stuff and off the show, guys.
Yeah, let's go. We'll see you guys after.
All right.